Welcome back to the Bible Story Series. The book we are going to read today might break your imagination of the Bible. It has no hot-blooded wars, nor does it have heartwarming comfort. Right at the beginning, it throws out an opening line that has shocked the ages. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Who is the author of this quote? It is the king in Jerusalem, traditionally believed to be the wisest, Solomon. Imagine a person with hundreds of billions in wealth, thousands of beauties, and the highest IQ in the world. His conclusion on life is actually vanity. The word for vanity here is Hevel in Hebrew, which means smoke or vapor. Smoke is real. You can see it, but when you reach out to grab it, you catch nothing. The teacher says, life is just like this. You desperately grasp for wealth, fame, and happiness. They look very real, but in the end, they will all dissipate like smoke. All of this is chasing the wind. The teacher continues to observe this world, and he discovers a despair-inducing cycle. He says, generations come and generations go. The sun rises and the sun sets. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. This is like a giant treadmill or a hamster's wheel. You think you are creating history? In reality, you're just repeating the past. You think the latest technology and the newest trends are fresh? Actually, human nature has not changed for thousands of years. What has been will be again. There is nothing new under the sun. For those who want to find meaning by changing the world, this is a massive bucket of cold water. If you only fix your eyes under the sun, the material world, you will find that everything is a futile cycle, which makes people feel deeply exhausted. Since changing the world is hard, why not enjoy the present? King Solomon decided to conduct an experiment, to seek pleasure with all his might. He said, I said to myself, come now, I will test you with pleasure. He started the craziest hedonistic project in human history. He built massive palaces and gardens. He bought countless male and female slaves. He collected the world's gold and silver treasures. He brought in the best singers to hold daily concerts. He had 1,000 concubines. Whatever his eyes desired, he did not keep from them. Whatever his heart wanted to enjoy, he did not withhold. And the result? When the wild party ended and he woke up from the hangover, he looked at all this and delivered his experimental conclusion. Yet when I surveyed all, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Pleasure is real, but pleasure is also fleeting. It cannot fill the bottomless black hole of the soul. This is the famous paradox of hedonism. Since pleasure is useless, then surely pursuing wisdom is okay? Being a smart person is better than being an idiot, right? The teacher says, yes, wisdom is better than folly, just as light is better than darkness. However, he discovered a devastating loophole, and that is death. Whether it's a Nobel laureate or a homeless person on the street, whether it's a billionaire working to the bone or a lazy bum with nothing, when death comes, the ending is exactly the same. Both are forgotten. Like the fool, the wise too must die. Who will you leave the wealth you worked your whole life to accumulate to after you die? Perhaps to a prodigal son who will squander all your life's hard work. Thinking of this, the teacher said, so, I hated life, because everything is meaningless. In the midst of despair, the teacher wrote one of the most beautiful poems in the Bible. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to weep and a time to laugh. What does this passage mean? It is telling us, humans are not the masters of time. We always want to control life. When to succeed, when to get married. But Ecclesiastes tells us that time is in God's hands. We can only adapt to the seasons, but we cannot change them. This sounds very powerless, but it is actually a form of release. Since you cannot control your circumstances, and since you cannot predict the future, you might as well let go. Acknowledging your own limitations is the first step to obtaining peace. Having talked so much about vanity, Is Ecclesiastes telling us to commit suicide or to just give up and lie flat? Quite the opposite. Precisely because life is as short as smoke, and precisely because the future is uncontrollable, the present becomes incredibly precious. The antidote given by the teacher is, a person can do nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in their own toil. This is not indulgence, but cherishing. When you eat, focus on enjoying the deliciousness of the food. When you work, enjoy the sense of accomplishment the work brings. When you are with your loved one, love them well. Do not be anxious about an unhappened future, nor be remorseful over an ungraspable past. These small joys are not vanity, but gifts from God to you. This is the biblical version of living in the moment. At the end of Ecclesiastes, this old man gives us a summary. If life is vanity, then what is the underlying strength for our existence? He says, "Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments."
Why?
Because if there is no God, life truly is just a random puff of smoke. After death, everything resets to zero. There is no retribution for good or evil, and everything is meaningless. But if there is a God, and if there is not only under the sun but also the eternity above the sun, then every little thing we do carries weight. Because God will judge, and because life has an end, we must live and love even more earnestly. Seeing through the vanity, yet still passionately loving life. This is true wisdom.